let's take a minute to talk about your approach because, after all, it's the fundamental key and the cornerstone in determining how successful your pursuit of prosperity will be. Because, after all, reaching the personal summit of success is a personal choice, and your level of execution on your own personal level of expectations will determine how successful you'll ultimately be. Kyle Perry knows all about the fruits of accountability and the actionable steps required to put yourself in the right mindset to live life with purpose, conviction, and the wherewithal needed to know how much urgency is required to reach the pinnacle of what you define as prosperity. He's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and International Sports Sciences Association's master personal trainer who lost 100 pounds after getting sober and who is now on a mission to help men and veterans become stronger again through sobriety. Perry coaches people from all walks of life. However, he brings the topic of masculinity back to the forefront of mind when he really wants to dig deep into his passion. At the core of what he does, he's a mindset, fitness, and nutrition coach who is on a mission to help as many people as possible live and maximize their full purpose in all areas of their life. And Perry joined me this week to tell me more. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. So, Kyle, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program. And I'm super excited to learn how you help men deal with their sobriety, masculinity, and leveling up in life. Great to see you, my friend, and thank you for a few minutes.
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Absolutely. Kyle, I know that you're all about helping men level up when it comes to mindset, sobriety, and masculinity, my friend. So I'm wondering if we can start our conversation by you telling me what makes you so fabulous and why you love what you do, my friend.
So I was really high up into the corporate world, and I just wasn't fulfilling my purpose anymore. I started drinking more when I got out of the military just from being stressed out a lot. And I wasn't really feeling myself. So I just started getting back into fitness, personal development, and I've lost over 100 pounds since getting sober and taking fitness serious. So now what I do is I teach men and veterans how to become strong again through sobriety, or even if they're not looking for complete sobriety, how to stop making excuses and drop their vices in life. Because so many people in today's world use their kids as scapegoats or their spouse or their job as scapegoats. But in reality, you have time for anything you make time for. Yeah. So my goal is to motivate them to get back on track for life.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. And tell me about that whole notion, because I firmly believe that we make time for the priorities that are important to us. So dive into your thoughts there as well, my friend.
I completely agree because I always tell people if anyone watches my Instagram, I say we all have the same excuses and we all have the same sob story. It just depends on what you want to harp on and if you want to harp on it or not. I have 3 kids and my wife works a really full-time big career. My career, I was working 50 hours a week, and then I still started running my fitness business through all that while editing my videos and never missing a workout. You have time for things. People just have improper time management and they just want to use an excuse to stay where they are right now.
Yeah, and to that point, Kyle, what do you think it means to level up in life?
Just take your life serious. So many people walk around with like a mediocre mindset because the people around, it's almost like you get made fun of if you take life serious nowadays. It's like the tide is starting to shift though, and I'm starting to see more influencers like myself talk about bringing masculinity to the forefront, bringing work ethic to the forefront. Because you'll have those people that comment on there like it's not about fitness, which I agree with. It's not about fitness, but fitness builds a discipline that bleeds into everything else in your life. You don't have to have abs to have success, but you do have to have some level of discipline in your life to actually unlock everything else and unlock your true potential.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, Kyle. What does it mean to you to discover a true passion, potential, and purpose in life?
Everyone's purpose is different, right? But to be able to unlock it and realize what your potential is, you have to start living a life of purpose to begin with. Like if you're living a very mediocre life, you're not moving towards any goals, you're not setting any goals, and you just wake up, go. Everyone always said they love the phrase, it's not about money, but then the only time they ever wake up is to go to work really early for money, and it's not even a lot of money. So like they say the people that are successful, like it's not about money, I don't need that, but they only wake up for money. They don't wake up for personal development. So if you start living a life of purpose and you wake up and you work out and you actually get motivated for the day, everything around you changes. The way you treat people. And when you start giving positive energy out into the world starts to give it back to you, whether it be with other people, with more money, with more motivation, you get the things you want. As soon as you start actually putting good into the world gives good back to you. Whether you don't even have to be religious, but like there's a higher purpose to all this besides getting drunk when you get after work or playing video games constantly or just doing the mediocre things.
Yeah, and Kyle, what do you think it means to live life with a purpose and a conviction as well?
To live life with a purpose, it just means like you're actually taking something, like you're taking life serious and you're goal driven and you try to push the people around you. There's so many people in today's society that they love to just like, oh, well, it's about balance, but they don't have any balance in their life. They don't have the money to go have the balance. They don't have the discipline to build the life to go have the balance. So like their version of balance is being extremely overweight, extremely depressed, and extremely anxious. But that doesn't sound like a very balanced life to me.
Yeah, and Kyle, I know that you have a specific fitness and nutrition program that you put people through for a 3 month period. So I'm wondering if you could tell me about it, my friend.
Yeah, so it's a mindset, fitness, and nutrition coach, and people, that's what I do for a living. So it's mindset first, fitness, and nutrition. If you don't dial in your mindset and internalize the change right here, I could give you $1 million plan, but you're never going to follow it because you haven't internalized the change. So we work on the mindset as we work on fitness and nutrition to build an overall better person, to just like be able to break your vices, drop your excuses, and then start to move into the discipline side of fitness and nutrition. Because if you don't have the internal change, you'll never see it. So part of the program is you'll get a one-on-one call with me once a week. You get into, it's not a one-on-one, it's a group call where you get to interact with everyone else in the group, and then I give you a mindset coaching. You tell me what your vices are, where you're dropping the ball, why you're struggling right now, and I tell you how to fix it. A lot of fitness coaches don't do that. They'll just give you a plan for like $20 and then move about their way, but the people aren't ever going to learn anything from that.
Yeah, and Kyle, tell me about really eliminating vices in life, because I know that sometimes when we try to do that, we can stumble. So what are your advice about eliminating vices and the process involved in there as well?
I tell a lot of people to start slowly. Let's say like you're drinking energy drinks every day, you're smoking cigarettes every day, and you're drinking beer every day. Pick one at first. So let's say you're drinking full flavored soda. Start half Coke Zero, half real Coke, and then 3/4 Coke Zero, 1/4 Coke, and then you just work your way up to where you're drinking no calories off of that. And then you start, let's say you're drinking 20 beers a day. We'll get you down to 10 beers a day. Then we'll get you down to 5 beers a day. If you try to cut all that out at the exact same time instantly, most people are going to fail. That's why diets fail 90% of the time. They go from one extreme to the next extreme, and you're going to get headaches, cravings, body aches, all the nine. So if you start working on your mindset, knowing you're improving yourself, as you teach yourself, like, hey, I no longer drink pop anymore, and that wasn't that hard. Let me try cigarettes next. And then you just keep moving down the bracket until you completely change your life.
Yeah, and Kyle, tell me, when we think about defining elite leadership and mindset, how do you define elite leadership, and what does it mean to you to develop an elite mindset as well?
So when it comes to an elite mindset, it's just being unbreakable, because a lot of people, when they start their journeys, they go around people that are like, oh, it's just one drink. Oh, it's just one this. And then all of a sudden they're out until 4 a.m. with their friends. So you have to be able to build the mindset to where people can't break you. And that's the ultimate success story right there. When you can tell someone no, look them straight in their face, like, I'm not drinking whether you tell me that or not. I'm drinking this water, or I'm drinking this Coke Zero. That's when you actually finally find like a true purpose, because you're starting to bleed off into other people's lives now. Because then maybe one day they'll be like, wow, look at how good his life is and how much it's improved, because they watch you improve over time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kyle, I want to talk to you about the concept of taking the right approach to life, because I always believe when I talk to people, I tell them that life is like a standard deck of playing cards. We're all given a deck of circumstances in life, and it's all how we kind of stack the deck in our favor, or develop our own approach to life. So talk to me about developing a life approach and what that means to you.
I agree 100%. Some people have a stacked deck and some people don't. But even the people, that goes back to hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. So even if your deck is completely stacked against you, if you start to shuffle those cards correctly, you can make a deck that can beat somebody as long as they don't know how to play their hand. So you just have to be able to take what life gives you, not let it defeat you, and then move forward past that. Because at the end of the day, you can't change the cards that life dealt you. Like, let's say you have a slow metabolism, or you have a genetic disorder, or you have something that's going to push you backwards, or a thyroid issue. It might mean you have to eat 1,300 calories to lose weight. But if your ultimate goal is to lose weight, that's just what you have to do to make it work, or move more. And it's not fair, but if you harp on not being fair, nobody would ever win at life.
Yeah, and Kyle, I'm going to tell you a quick personal story, my friend. So I was born with what's called spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy. Anybody that watches my podcast knows that. It simply means that I don't have enough oxygen in my legs to walk normally. And Kyle, I actually found out at the age of 9 that I wouldn't be able to walk without the assistance of a walker for the duration of my life because of the severity of my CP. But I always say that inclusion is the gateway to independence, and everybody's portrait of success is different. So tell me, in your mind, what goes into painting a successful portrait of success, and what's your definition of inclusion as well?
So everyone has to paint their own picture. So my success story is just helping others. So they have to figure out what their success story is, whether it be make $10,000 more a year, whether it be lose 20 pounds and keep it off. Everyone has to, I feel like a lot of people on the internet nowadays, they're trying to mimic the next person. So like they look at somebody on like as a fitness influencer and they're like, wow, I want a body like his. Like, one, they're selling you a mirrored image, the most perfect picture on the internet. So then they think that's success, but those guys don't even look like that half the time. A lot of it's smoke and mirrors, even with life, or like business owners. Like you'll hear a lot of business owners in life, they'll say, oh, I made $1 million this year, but only 100,000 of it was profit. So they only really made $100,000 a year. But people that don't make that kind of money, they harp on the $1 million and they feel like they're a failure at life. But in reality, they just took a different path, and they need to find their own success story, because without that, you will always feel like you're not living your true purpose. It all goes back to your true purpose and what you feel like your life should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you think discipline and leadership are interconnected?
I do. If you don't have discipline, you can't be a good leader. So one of my mentors, he always says, if you're not a 10, you can't expect people to be a 10. So if you don't carry yourself with like the utmost discipline, just purely minded, you can actually lead someone from the front, pull them from the front versus pushing them from the back. You'll never be 100% great leader because they'll see that and they'll be able to run over top of you. Like if you're a 6 or a 7 in life and you have somebody that's a 9 or a 10, he'll run over you every single time because he's stronger than the leader at hand.
Yeah, and Kyle, tell me, what do you think when you talk about a leadership from a management perspective? What makes a great leader as a manager?
I think one thing that makes a really great leader is not showing any type of weakness, tiredness, or like you don't want to show your guys that you face fear in the wrong way. A prime example I have is this place I used to work for. Someone else took over for a while. They came from a different country, so they didn't really understand the American mindset or the ego. And like in her meeting, she would talk about how tired she was, how exhausted she was, how she'd been working so many hours. And like most people don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that my leader is getting overworked and underpaid and tired and hasn't ate. Like I don't. That's not something you want to hear from a leader. You want to hear from a leader. They're going to pull you from the front if they haven't slept in 3 days and haven't ate in 4 days. Because at the end of the day, a leader has to do what needs to get done, no matter what.
Yeah, and Kyle, what is your definition of inspired leadership?
So inspired leadership, let me see. The best way to put it is you want to actually get into the people's heads and show them that you're meant to be their leader and that they can be a leader. If you don't put it in the people's heads that are below you, that they can be the next person where you're at. I used to tell my guys all the time when I work in the corporate world, like one day I will not be here and one of you should want to be able to stand here. But so you need to act like every day you're trying to take my job. And that will inspire people to think that they can move to the next level. And then that performance of those people improve because you show you're pouring your all into them to create the next person that takes the stage.
Yeah, and Kyle, I want to talk a minute about maximizing nutritious potential. And what I mean by that is, why do you think valuing nutrition also will help you optimize other areas of your life? So why do you think they're interconnected?
So it's the same thing with fitness. The first thing you can do every day, there's only a couple things you can control throughout your life. It's like what you put in your body and what you do with your body. So if you can control those two things that actually have a very big outlier in the rest of your life, you can build discipline in every single thing. If you can say, I'm going to track my macros every single day, which is your protein, fats, and carbs on a daily basis, 7 days a week, you are building discipline and not breaking that habit every single day, all day long. Then you don't miss a workout. Now you stacked another win. And then now you go do your cardio, you stacked another win. And now all of a sudden you're stacking 4 to 5 wins a day. And that discipline bleeds off in everything else. Because like if you can hit your macros while you have a stress day, while you're super busy, while you're doing all these things, and then the next thing that gets piled on your plate, but I can knock that out too. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, and Kyle, tell me, what do you think about maturity and responsibility and the link between the two?
I think they go hand in hand. If the more mature you are and the better you act and the better you carry yourself with discipline, you'll get more responsibility. And the more responsibility you get places, the better you can climb up the ranks. Or you can use that money that you start to get from promotions, go get your own certifications, and eventually climb up the ranks somewhere else. Life is all about how hard you work, how you can impress the people around you and who you know. And if you can get into rooms and talk to people with better mindsets, just because you have a better mindset, there's a better chance for you to elevate in life. But you can't have that if you don't have some type of maturity to where you actually act and carry yourself accordingly. Like I like to have fun. A lot of people see my Instagram and they think I'm a super serious person, which I am when it comes to personal development. But I joke around with my wife, I joke around with my kids, I joke around with the people in my area. But when it's time to hold them accountable, I hold them accountable. And when it's time to have a serious conversation, that's when it comes in. Like life is about actually enjoying it also. But at the same time, if you don't carry yourself accordingly in certain aspects, you'll never make it anywhere. Like these people today, they'll show up to a job interview, underdressed, and then that in and of itself makes it look like you're going to underperform. And right there shows a level of maturity that didn't even get you through the door at that point. It took you all the way out of the job equation.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kyle, I know you're a big proponent of movement and really balancing that between what you eat and also how much you move. So tell me about eat less and move more money in your philosophy behind that statement.
Yeah, I completely agree that it is eating less and moving more, but at the same time, you still want nutritious value in your foods. You can lose all the weight in the world by just eating Twinkies if you're in a calorie deficit, but you're not going to have a lot of energy. You're not going to recover properly. You're not going to be able to push your body forward. So you want to have a fine line of the foods you eat versus the foods that you want to eat. So let's say your calorie deficit is 1,800 calories. You want to do about 80% of those calories from nutritious foods like lean meats, fruits and veggies. People need to stop being scared of fruits. There's a lot of nutritional value in it. And then you want to get a good carb source. And then if you want to fit in, like a cookie or a protein donut, or you want to fit in a real donut, as long as it fits in your calories, but you got the energy sources to fuel your body, that's fine. Like calories in versus calorie out is definitely a real thing. But you just want to make sure that you actually feel full while you're eating at the same time while you break the diet.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a personal development standpoint, Kyle, what does it mean to you to be present from a development standpoint when we talk about life development and personal growth?
Personal development if you actually take personal development seriously, it can change the whole trajectory of your life. Because as soon as you start taking personal development serious, it will change everything in every way you see people. It'll change the way you see your job. It'll change the way you see your future, because you start to take steps to do more serious things in life. And then all of a sudden, those people you were drinking with on the weekends, they don't seem so fun to hang out with anymore, because you realize they're not going anywhere. And then that bleeds off into discipline, and that bleeds off into just changing your entire life.
Yeah, and just building on that, Kyle, I believe that life is all about the choices that we make. I always tell people, they ask me why I'm so positive despite having a disability, and I always tell them that life is about having a life compass and putting it in the direction that we all want to go. And I believe that's a personal choice. So talk to me about your vision when it comes to making personal choices, because it's coming up on all of ourselves to keep our own selves accountable, right?
Yeah, so when it comes to a personal decision in my life and what I want to do, I just ask myself, will this actually impact my life, or is it going to hold me backwards? Because there's a few things I want to go out and get right now, but I know I want to go out and get my name bigger, get on bigger stages. So I'm holding off for right now of purchasing things for enjoyment because I have a purpose. So I always try to pick purpose over pleasure, and then pleasure comes after you fulfilled your purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, Kyle, how do you view personal accountability? How do you define that, my friend?
Personal accountability is doing what needs to get done when no one's looking. If anyone watches my Instagram, I post that quote a lot. I could easily not do half the things I do and just repeat the videos over and over again. So that's kind of why I change my clothes throughout the day, just to show people that I'm actually doing a task that I show myself doing. Because if you watch my stories on my Instagram from 5 a.m. in the morning till when I go to bed at 9 or 10, I do a lot of grueling tasks all day to keep myself on personal development route. Because if I'm not working towards a goal, I'm a very easy person to fall off the tracks. I have an addictive personality. That's why I let alcohol in my life for so long. So I just found a way to take that addictive personality and turn it towards business, turn it towards goals and discipline. And my life is very structured if you watch it. And most people think it looks crazy, because I'll wake up at like 5 in the morning and do burpees. And then at night I'm doing another workout. And then in between that I do an hour-long ruck. But that's what keeps me accountable. And if I miss any of those, I've built them into my daily life so structured, it feels weird to not do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kyle, tell me about how maximizing physical health can help you sort of maximize in every area of your life, because I believe that making physical health should be a priority for all of us, but that's a personal choice too, isn't it?
It is, but if people, like a lot of people, they will say fitness isn't everything, but once they start to work out, they say, oh, I wish I would have did this 15 years ago. Because the benefits and the health benefits, the energy levels you get from it is just, it's like you 10x your life so fast. you have more energy to spend with your kids, you have more energy to spend with your spouse, then your relationships improve, then your friendships improve because you can treat people better. It's all back to the discipline side of things. If you can, and fitness will make you live longer. There's a lot of studies out there, even if you don't take a diet super serious, people that work out tend to live 10 to 15% longer than most people that don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kyle, I know you're the most important job you'll ever have is being a dad. So tell me, what does it mean to you to be an all-star dad, my friend?
That's mainly why I do everything I do, because kids may not listen to you, but they emulate you. They will follow everything they see you do, which I was never a great example when I was drinking all the time. I was one of those dads, like those typical American dads, like, hey, son, grab me a beer out of the fridge. But now I look back on that, like that was like one of the worst things I could have ever showed my son, that I think alcohol is so normal that kids can take it out of the fridge, because we plant little seeds into our kids all of our lives. They hear one little thing you say, and they run with it. They're not going to listen to you, but they will emulate you. That's why you see a lot of people, or a lot of kids, when they get older, they're like, my parents are who I thought they were when I was younger. Because kids think you're a superhero until they hit about 15 or 16. Then they realize like a lot of parents are frauds. Like they didn't go out and live their dream. They're not eating their fruits and vegetables like they're telling their kids to. So then the kids stop listening to their parents because their parents are just lying to them.
Yeah, and tell me about the shirt you've got on today, brother. Yeah, it says, does it pay? So tell me about why you decided to wear the shirt and what it means to you, my friend.
Dues paid. That's one of my favorite phrases from the supplement company First Form. Andy Frisella is probably one of the best motivational speakers I've actually watched him speak in person. It was a very, very cool experience. First Form's one of the biggest supplement companies out there right now. He's worth like $1 billion, but like dues paid is on a lot of their shirts, because you got to pay your dues every single day to life. Life doesn't owe us anything. We got very comfortable in the last 50 to 100 years because social media, getting relaxed. We don't have to go out and hunt for our food. We don't have to go do anything but sit on the couch. We can DoorDash all our food. So if we got back to the mentality of paying dues every single day, it would become a better society and overall.
Yeah, and Kyle, tell me, how do you think incorporating supplements in our nutritional plan can be both a positive or a negative? Where do you fall on the fence there, my friend?
So I think it's a fine line between both. I think there's a lot of people in today's society that are wasting a lot of money on supplements because they don't have their diet in check. A supplement is supposed to do exactly what the name is. It's supposed to supplement your diet. It's like, so I take a micronutrient packet just to get more vitamins and minerals, and then I take creatine because it's one of the most studied supplements on the planet for strength and recovery and ATP production. And then I take a protein powder just because I need more protein from living a busy life. So I'd get a protein shake in at least once a day to hit some more protein. But there's people out there that will spend $200 to $300 a month on supplements like fat burners and things of that nature, which can help you like aid in not feeling as hungry. But if you don't have your diet in check, you might as well just throw that $300 in the trash or burn it every month, because you're not going to see any results. That's what's weird to me about supplements, or it's like it's almost branded in people's minds. Like my personal development coaching for mindset, fitness, and nutrition, plus all the education I have, is $299 a month. And people say, oh, that's too expensive, I'm not going to spend that. But then they'll go spend $400 on supplements thinking that's the secret sauce, and then they see no results.
Yeah, it's like putting together a puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And Kyle, I'm going to combine my last two questions because they're interconnected. So I'm curious to ask you, what does that mean to live life with presence? And when you look at your own personal and professional life, how do you want your legacy to be defined?
So if a lot of people, they're so hyper focused in it now, they don't even realize that they're overweight or that they're how they're treating people because they're not living in present time. Like you'll look in the mirror 7 months from now and finally realize, like, whoa, I gained 60 pounds. So you need to be able to realize and self-assess and live in the present time, so that way you can actually self-evaluate and make all your changes that you could ever need to make. Because most people cannot that's why they need coaches, because they can't self-assess. Like they're like, oh, I don't look that bad, or I don't feel that bad, until they start improving their life. And then my overall life purpose and my mission that I just want to leave on this earth is I just want to help as many people as possible. Like one person helped today is a mission accomplished, but I mean, my life goal is to help millions of people get on bigger stages, motivate more people. And like I said, I left my corporate job. I was making over $100,000 a year, but there was no purpose in it. And now I took a risk. I remember texting my wife like, hey, I'm quitting my job. And I make extremely good money now, but people won't care to help you build your career and build your life if you're actually providing immense value to them. So I just want to provide so much value to people's lives that $750 they pay for the 3 months saves them $10,000, $20,000 that year, because they broke all their vices. And that little amount of money that they gave to me held them accountable, and I changed their lives. And once you change one person's life, it can change 100 lives. Like that's like when you hold open a door and you smile for someone. That can change 10 lives that day, because now that guy finally felt like he was seen, and then he gives positive vibes to somebody all day long.
Yeah, it's all about creating a positive food chain, isn't it?
Exactly.
Absolutely, my friend. And finally, tell me, if people want to get connected with you, my friend, what's the best way they can do that?
So it's super simple. It's just my Instagram. It's Perry's_powerhouse_fitness. I don't have a website that they have to reach out to me to. They can just follow me there and just reach me in the DMs. Even if they don't want to sign up for a plan, they can come and talk to me just to pick my brain a little bit. And then if people aren't into personal development at all, or ever want to buy a fitness plan, I operate a GoFundMe, and every $750, I donate a free plan to a veteran that needs to find sobriety. Now, it is a little challenging because I have to reach out to each veteran individually, and not a lot of them are willing to accept help because they're prideful, obviously. So it's a mission that takes a little bit of my time each and every day. So even if someone gives $5 to that GoFundMe, it's another life changed every time we hit $750. So that's my overall mission, to help veterans too.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, I want to thank you for engaging in conversation with me about fitness, nutrition, and mindset, my friend. I want to thank you for your service and for joining me this afternoon. It's most appreciated.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. It was a great time.